Hi, I'm Darlene and this is Heartfelt Crochets. So yesterday's video was sharing with you the Forget-Me-Not granny square that I had created. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on that same granny square, the Forget-Me-Not granny square. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and let me teach you. So for today's tutorial, we are going to be using a 4.5 millimeter hook. You're going to need a pair of scissors and a yarn needle. I'm going to set these two things aside. I am using 4 different colors of yarn today. The first is put out by Premier Basics, and this is in the color Aran. And then this one is put out by Red Heart Super Saver, and this is the color Light Blue. This one is also Premier Basics, and this is the color Lemon Yellow. And I'm not sure what brand this is, but it is just a brown. And all of these are number 4 worsted weight yarn. So we're going to start with the brown, and we are going to make a magic ring. And if you don't know how to make a magic ring, I'll show you real quick. You're going to take the yarn and you're going to drape it across your 2 fingers. You're going to wrap it around, and you are going to make an X on the top and hold it with your pinky. Go ahead and place your hook underneath this first strand. Grab the back strand with your hook, pull through and twist. Now you're going to grab a hold of this back yarn and pull through that loop. Now we're going to take this tail and feed it through the front. And a lot of people just start working in the loop like that, but I pull mine semi-closed right from the start. It's just easier to work with, so you don't have to deal with this big floppy open loop. In this magic ring, we are going to crochet 5 single crochets. So here is 1, 2, 3, whoops, almost dropped the ball, 4 and 5. Okay, now we're going to pull that closed, and we're going to count back 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just to make sure that we are going in the right spot. And we're going to go into the back loop only of that first single crochet that we made in the magic ring. Make sure you don't mistake your working yarn and your tail. Grab your working yarn and place a single crochet in that back loop. And then you're going to place another single crochet in that same stitch. Now in the next 4 single crochets, we are going to continue with this increase, which is 2 single crochets in each of the next 4 stitches in the back loop only. Okay, so in the back loop, 2 single crochets. In the next stitch, back loop only, 2 single crochets. Again, in the back loop only of the next stitch, 2 single crochets. And then one last time in this last stitch, in the back loop only, a 2 single crochet increase. And now we're going to pull that circle really tight, get that nice and closed. And then we are going to slip stitch under both loops of that last stitch. You're going to slip stitch, then you're going to chain 1 and cut your yarn and pull that through. Now we're going to take a minute and we're just going to go ahead and weave in this tail just so that we can get it out of the way. And I just flung my hook across the table onto the floor, so I had to get that. All right, so we're going to thread our yarn needle And the brown is kind of hard to see, but you're just going to kind of wiggle your needle underneath the stitches of the original first row single crochets. And come back the other direction just to give it a little extra security, because granny squares, the circle, the magic ring will tend to come undone a little bit. It'll open up. So now that you have secured that, we're going to give that a snip. Okay, moving on to the yellow yarn. All right, so now what we're going to do is this very, very first round that we crocheted 5 single crochets. We are going to work into this front loop only. So when we crocheted this second round, we went in the back loop only, which left these front loops free. Okay, so there is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we are going to place our hook underneath that front loop of that very first row. And then we're going to grab our yellow yarn and we are going to pull that through. And then we are going to chain 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Now what we're going to do is we are going to crochet a bobble. It's a 4 double crochet bobble, but where this first one, the chain 3 counts as the first double crochet, we're going to be doing 3 double crochets now. Excuse me. So we're going to yarn over and insert your hook underneath that same front loop only, and grab your yarn and pull up a loop, and then you're going to grab your yarn and pull through 2 only. We're going to do that again. Yarn over, insert your hook into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to do that one more time in the same stitch. So it's 3 incomplete double crochets, and then we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through all 4 loops on the hook. Now you're going to insert your hook into this same stitch, yarn over, pull through, take a minute and push that bobble forward, and then take this loop and pull it through this loop on the hook. And then we're going to slip stitch in this next front loop only of the next stitch. And now we are going to crochet a 4 double crochet bobble in this same stitch. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Incomplete double crochet. Now we're going to do that 3 more times in that same stitch. So now we have 4 incomplete double crochets, and we have 5 loops on the hook. You're going to yarn through and pull through all 5 loops. Then you're going to insert your hook into that same stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, pop out that bobble and pull that through. Now we are going to go onto the front loop only of the next stitch and slip stitch, and we're going to crochet another 4 double crochet bobble. Okay, so just continue that, and if you need to refer to the last bobbles that we just did, go ahead and do so, and I'll meet you back when you have all 5 baubles finished. Once you have completed your 5 baubles, you are going to slip stitch to the very first bauble that we made, right at the base of it, okay, right in that stitch that we made, that first bauble. You're going to slip stitch, and then you're going to chain 1, and we're going to cut our yarn and pull that through. And you're going to want to make sure that all of your baubles stay popped out to the front. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take just a minute, and I am going to create a square knot with these 2 yellow tails. Okay. And that's just going to give it a little extra security. So I'm going to take the right strand and cross it over the left strand. Then I'm going to tuck this one underneath and through, pull that nice and secure. Then you're going to do the opposite, and you're going to take the left strand, cross it over the right, and tuck that from back to front, put that through, and then give it a really good tug. And then let's just do that one more time. Just for some extra security, take the right side, cross it over the left, from back in through the front of that loop, and pull through. Now, square knots are very secure. They are not going to unravel on you. So let's go ahead and just give that a snip. All right. So now, moving right along to the blue yarn. Now we are going to crochet the petals, and we are going to work, like push your little baubles forward so that you can see this is the second row of the brown, the second round. And now we're, excuse me, I don't know why I have this frog in my throat. Now we are going to work under both loops only of this second round. Okay, this is where we ended, right here where our tail is. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to insert our hook underneath both loops of that first stitch, and then we are going to pull our blue yarn through. And then we are going to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to double treble 2 together in this same stitch. So you're going to yarn over 3 times. Insert your hook into that same stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now don't complete it, okay? Same thing, yarn over 3 times, insert your hook into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now this is where it gets a little different. We're still not pulling through, okay? Now we're going to do it again. Yarn over 3 times, but we're going into the next stitch this time. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now you have 4 loops on your hook. We're going to do that one more time. Yarn over 3 times. Insert into that same stitch that we just did that last double treble. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have 5 loops on the hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 of those loops. And now we are going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Slip stitch in this same stitch as these 2 double treble crochets, so right in that same stitch, and slip stitch. Okay, now you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. Let's pull up the yarn and take a look at that first petal that we made. It's a nice rounded petal. It's not dipping in the center. And it comes up enough, high enough, beyond the yellow center of the baubles, because in the picture the petals are quite large and they extend quite a bit from the yellow center. Okay, so we just slip stitched into the next stitch. So now we're going to chain 6. We're going to crochet our second petal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to do the same thing, and we are going to crochet 2 double treble crochets, incomplete them, because remember we're going to be doing 2 double treble crochets in the next stitch, and then we will join them all together. All right, so yarn over 3 times, insert in that same stitch as you just came out of your chain 6, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Don't finish it. Yarn over 3 times in the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, yarn over 3 times. Now we're going into the next stitch. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. One more time, yarn over 3 times, insert into the same stitch as we just did this last double treble crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. 5 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, and chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Insert your hook into that same stitch and pull through as a slip stitch, and then slip stitch into the next stitch. So now we have just finished our second petal, and you're going to continue that around for 3 more petals in this same stitch, slip stitch, slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 6. Two incomplete double treble crochets in this same stitch as your chain 6. Now be very careful not to catch this first petal with your hook. You don't want to snag it and end up pulling at the yarn from this petal. Now, in this very last stitch, You kind of have to move things aside. We're going to place 2 incomplete double treble crochets. Pull through all 5 loops on the hook and chain 6. And then slip stitch in that same space. And now there's no need to join. We are going to chain 1 and we're going to cut our yarn and pull that through. Now we're going to do the same thing as we did before with the yellow, and we are going to make a square knot. So again, it is right over left and then from back to front. And then left over right and then back to front. And one more time, right over left, from the back to the front. And we are going to cut that yarn. Now let's take a moment and weave that brown yarn in through our yarn needle and just randomly weave it through the back side of that brown, just to give it some security, and then cut that yarn. Let's flip it over and straighten out our petals and take a look at our forget-me-not flower. Alright, so I forgot to mention that you're going to need a strand of white yarn. I cut off about 3 feet and I'm going to thread my yarn. Actually, I'm going to make a slip knot, and then you're going to place your hook into the brown in between the petals. And put that slip knot over your hook and pull that through. And then you're going to draw that yarn through, all the way through. Okay, so now that's secured to your flower. And we're going to thread our needle. Bring that about halfway through. So now we are going to go ahead and we are going to pull this yarn to the front, and then we are going to insert our hook into the back loop of the 3rd chain of the left hand side of this petal, and then through the back loop of the 3rd chain of the petal to the left, and we're going to draw that through. Then we're going to wrap this behind this petal. So just place your yarn behind this petal, and we're going to insert our hook right in the center of the top of this petal. Now you're not going to want it to be right in here. You're going to want it to be in this stitch at the top, okay? Okay, and you're going to draw that through. And now we are going to go down to the center of the petal, right into the brown. in the front, coming out the back, and draw that through. Now we are going to insert our needle from the back to the front, coming through the brown. Whoops. And then we're going to go into the back loop of the third chain, and then into the back loop of the third chain on the other side. And pull that through. And again, we are going to bring this to the back of this next petal. And from the back to front, we're going to come through the top of this petal. Pull that through. Then come down the center of the petal and into the brown from front to back and pull that through. Now we are going to come in between the petals from back to front and come through the brown and pull that through. Now we are going to go through again the back loop only of the third chain on both sides and pull that through. Bring this behind the petal and come back to front through the top. And then down the center of the petal into the brown from front to back. Pull that through. Now from back to front, come through the brown. Through the back loop of the chain 3s on each side. And we're just going to repeat that for these next 2 petals. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to cut this yarn fairly long so that we can tie this into a knot right over left and from back to front. And don't worry, we'll be getting a separate piece of yarn to sew it to the granny square. Left over right. From back to front. One more time. I know this is a short piece, but this is the long piece, and this is what's easy to maneuver because we're going to right over left. And then tuck that in from back to front. And pull that tight. And let's give that a snip. So there is our beautiful forget-me-not flower. Now we are going to crochet the granny square that this is going to be sewn on top of. And again, we're going to start with the magic ring. That's our first chain, and then chain 2 more. Bring this tail to the front and pull that closed a little bit. And now we are going to crochet 2 double crochets in this magic circle and chain 1. And that's a 3 double crochet cluster made. We're going to crochet another 3 double crochet cluster, so that's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and 3 double crochets and chain 1. So we just crocheted a second cluster. Going to do that 2 more times. So 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, and then 3 more double crochets. And chain 1, and we're going to join to the top of this chain 3, and we're going to pull that circle closed, and we're going to take just a minute to weave in that tail, and we're going to go back and forth a few times to really secure this circle, because if you're going to use a magic ring for a granny square, you have to do this, or it's almost inevitable that that circle is going to end up opening up on you in time. Okay, so we just went one direction. Now we're going to go in the opposite direction and then back across in the other direction again. Pull that nice and tight and cut. There, nice and secure. Now we have 4 3 double crochet clusters. Okay, we have a little square. Now what we're going to do is slip stitch in this space. Just chain 1 space and chain 2. Then we're going to go into the next chain 1 space in between the clusters, and we're going to double crochet 3 times. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And then you're going to chain 2. 1, 2. 3 more double crochets in that same space. That's 1, 2, and 3. And then we're not going to chain. We're just going to go right into the next chain 1 space and crochet 3 double crochets in that space. And chain 2. And then 3 double crochets in that same space. So we just created 2 nice crisp corners. We're going to do that again in the next chain 1 space. 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets in that same space. And we just crocheted our 3rd corner. Now in this last one, you are going to crochet 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 2 double crochets, and then we're going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 3. So that's round 2 that's completed. Now we're going to single crochet in this space and chain 2. Now this is where we're going to do something a little different. These 2 rounds were just a traditional granny square, but now we are going to go into something a little different. So in this chain 2 space, crochet 3 double crochets. So that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. Now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to treble crochet. So yarn over twice, insert your hook into that same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. That's a treble crochet. Then we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then crochet a 3 double crochet cluster in that same corner space. So that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. So we have our 2 clusters, just like we did in this corner, but we have this little bit of a lacy thing going on now with the chain 5, the treble crochet, and the chain 5. So in this next space, it's just a 3 double crochet cluster. It's 1, 2, and 3. Moving right on into this corner space, a 3 double crochet cluster. 1, 2, and 3. Now chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A treble crochet, and then chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 3 double crochet cluster in the same space. In this next space, a 3 double crochet cluster, and then we are going to repeat that around. And if you need to rewind to refer to what we just did, you can go ahead and do that. Otherwise, just continue till you get to this last space and I'll meet you there. All right, now we're at this last space, and this is where we placed our initial single crochet with chain 2. So now we're going to place 2 double crochets in this space. So that's 1 and 2, and then slip stitch to the top of this chain. Okay, so that was round number 3. Now for round number 4, let's go ahead and single crochet in this space and chain 2. Now in this first loop, we are going to double crochet 2. So that's 1 and 2. Now in the top of this treble crochet, right in this stitch, we are going to double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet in that same stitch. And then in this next loop, 2 double crochets. In this next space, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. In this next space, 3 double crochets. Is 1, 2, and 3. In this next loop, 2 double crochets. In this next stitch, double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet in that same stitch, and then 2 double crochets in this loop. Three double crochet in the next space, three double crochet in the next space, now in this loop, 2 double crochets, and then in the next stitch, double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet in that same stitch, and then 2 double crochet in the loop. And you're going to repeat that and when you get back to the space where we did the initial single crochet, I will meet you back here. All right, now we're at this last space. We are going to double crochet 2 and then join at the top of this chain. So now what we're going to do is just the last round is going to be just like a traditional granny square, only we are going to be making a little picots in where our chain 2 would be. Okay, so let's go ahead and single crochet in this space and chain 2 just like we have done. Then we're going to go ahead into this chain 2 corner space and crochet a 3 double crochet cluster. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So now instead of chaining 2, we are going to chain 3, and then we're going to place our hook underneath this stitch and the back side. Okay, and we are going to draw our yarn through and right through the other loop on our hook, and that created a picot. All right, now we are going to crochet another 3 double crochet cluster. And then 3 double crochets in the next space. And 3 double crochet in the next space. And then 3 double crochet in this next space. Now in this corner space, 3 double crochet, and then chain 3. And again, slip your hook underneath this front bar and this back bar right here. Yarn over and pull through, and then pull right straight through that loop that was on your hook, and then 3 double crochet in that same space. Okay, so that's 2 corners that we have crocheted with these little picots on the top. So let's continue with a 3 double crochet cluster in the next space. And then a 3 double crochet cluster in the next space. And then a 3 double crochet cluster in the next space. And then 3 double crochet in the corner, the chain 2 space. And then chain 3. And again, underneath this front and the back bar, and pull the yarn right through, and then 3 double crochet in this same corner space. So you're going to continue that around these next two sides until you get to the space where we put this initial single crochet. And when you get to that space, I will meet you back there. Okay, now we're at this last space again, and we're going to crochet 2 double crochets in this space and then join with a slip stitch to the top of that chain. And then you're going to chain 1, and we are going to cut our yarn and pull that through. And we're going to take just a minute to weave in this yarn tail, just weaving in randomly, back and forth. And then just across the other way and snip that yarn. Then we are going to straighten out our square. And this one may require some blocking because it's going to want to curl, because we did a little bit of this lacy work in here, so it's going to make it want to curl a little bit. So you can just spray it with some water, block it, let it dry, and then it will lay flat. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this beautiful flower and we're just going to center it. And then you would take a white piece of yarn again, and just like you would sew anything else, you are going to sew the back side in the brown area, or maybe even up just a little bit into the blue area and in through this second row of stitches and secure that through. So let's go ahead and just do a little bit of that together. I'm going to go ahead and pull this yellow forward, and I'm going to insert my hook into the brown. Then I am going to put my crochet hook from back to front through the brown, just to pull this little tail through in a random spot and create a little knot. So we have secured our yarn to the back of the flower, and I am going to go ahead and bring this yarn up to the middle of the blue just by inserting my hook underneath the center stitches. You don't want this to show in the front, so you're not going to be wrapping it around the front like this. You're going to go just underneath the back loops. And you're going to pull that up through gently, but not too tight because you don't want the flower to bend. Then you're going to place this on the center of your granny square and insert to the bottom of this cluster. And that attaches that petal to this square. Now you're going to skip on over to this next cluster and pull that through. Then you're going to come down in between these flowers here and just come through the back. And then again, you're going to come up through these 2 stitches in the back of this petal and come down through this cluster. And that's all we're doing all the way around this flower. Now next, I'm going to come through this cluster and then come through the back stitches of these chains. And then through the back stitches in the center of this petal. And then through this cluster through the back. Now this is getting nice and secure, and you can see that we're just working around. And you would just continue that around for the next 2 petals. So we're going to go down in through this next cluster, coming from the back to the front. Through the back of these chains down bottom. In the back of the flower, the petal. And then through front to back of that cluster. And one more time, you're going to go into the next cluster. Through these 2 chains in the back. In the back of this petal. And through that cluster from front to back. Okay, so that secured that flower to the granny square. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go through this center circle and come right up into the brown of the flower, close to the yellow. And then we're going to go right in between, close to the brown, in between these 2 clusters, and come right back up through the center. And then again up through the center and come on the opposite side of the brown. And then down through the brown in between these 2 clusters. And that secured that center, and it even gave it a little bit of that white that it shows in the flower on the picture. So now what we're going to do is we are just going to weave this kind of underneath a few stitches. And then draw it through this loop. And we're going to pull that tight. And then we're going to do that again. Then we're just going to kind of just loop it around, just to make a good knot, and cut that yarn. Straighten out our square. Please comment below and let me know what you think of this flower granny square that I have created. I worked hard to try to come up with a perfect forget-me-not granny square or flower applique on a lacy granny square. And until next time, bye!